So, what's good, guys? I have Yanni here again, and whenever me and Yanni do a collab, then it's always one of my best videos. Today, we'll be talking about the Discord extorter pipeline. Now, if you don't know what an extorter is, I'm sure Yanni, being the most, acquainted with this community, will be able to fill you in. So, Yanni, can you explain simply what an extorter is?
Um, I think everyone knows like what people talk about when they say extorter normally, but in context to this community, an extorter is basically somebody. Essentially, like it's a term that's like used to describe people who make girls, like vulnerable girls, cut themselves. That's
Yeah,
how it's usually used in this community. Like
yeah.
they have like a variety of methods. Like it could be like an emotional extortion, or like they could
Mm-hmm.
do sextortion with girls' nudes. But
Yeah,
usually, like it's just broadly used to describe women,
yeah,
people who make women cut themselves
yeah.
for their
So,
own pleasure, which is fucking weird.
again, so from the Discord debating community, there's been a few people who have gone from debating to actually entering that community. And if you notice, Yanni, and I hope you agree as well, that the community that this most of the time comes from is the crossless debating community. You'd agree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if
So,
you've seen like
yeah.
countless times.
Yeah, so like for example, the notable ones are like you have Focus. He has a whole videos on his channel of him calling the police on people's houses. Then who are also all of the new up and comers in the extortion community?
Want me to name them?
Yeah, you can name them.
I know, like I don't know if it's recent, but I know Ghost became an extorter. I know
Yeah,
Shin became an extorter. I know Mink became an extorter. I'm saying it's okay. I
yeah.
know that Kellis apparently is also an extorter,
No,
and
no,
it's
he
like,
is, he is, he is.
oh yeah, what the fuck? Like all of these guys are extorters. Like, whoa, what the
And
hell?
you
Like,
notice the
kind of.
common denominator between all of them is they began debating from the crosses community. Oh yeah, and they're black. Okay, well look, them being black isn't relevant here. So first of all, we'll start off from who's the first most notable one of these type of people. I know who you think is, and I also know who I think is. He's sort of the person who created the gateway into the those other communities. And he's one of the more popular debaters of our time.
Mm-hmm.
He's a loud micer, he's a debater, and
Mm-hmm.
supposedly he has quote unquote loose ties with that community, as stated himself. You know who he is?
Um, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
What does his name begin with?
His name begins with an A and ends with an I.
With an A and ends with an I? Nah, I don't know who you're talking about.
No, 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 no. You said you'd eat his heart.
Archie.
Yeah. So again,
Yeah. So,
yeah. Go ahead.
not to make any extremely hard allegations on him, but allegedly Archie was an extorter at least one point in time.
Yeah.
I remember there's strong evidence that he affiliated himself with like extortion groups such as like I think Casco or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like there's like evidences of him having cut signs or like going harm for harm of people. And it's crazy, like this was way before like this debate come extortion shit like became like kind
Yeah.
of
I think he was kind of the one who opened the floodgates. No.
I mean, I guess you could say that because he was doing this shit 2 years ago, or like even like over a year ago. So, like,
Yeah.
he was really doing it. Like,
Yeah, he was really doing it for the love of
well.
the game. It wasn't for the clout. Like, so again, even though Mr. Medes, Mr. Archie, he didn't really do it for the clout, because in terms of the debate he was one of the first people to actually engage in these type of behaviors. And if you notice, the sort of common denominator and the sort of way these guys actually start by doing this is, first they go from debating crossroads, debating inverse, right? Then so when and typically it's crossroads, but when they realize that they can't hack it in terms of debating, then they choose to start hacking it into girls' thighs, right? And you notice that they move from debating to e-dating. So, this is typically why e-dating has a weird stigma, and I hope you can agree that, because most of the times whenever they're quote unquote e-dating somebody else, they always start asking for, oh, can you write this on your body? Can you do that on your body? So again, so
I mean,
you're good?
I wouldn't like broadly attribute that to e-dating. I just say that's like true within our community,
Yeah.
our debating community.
Yeah.
But like, I also like want to talk about like another extort in a minute, but like yeah, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go.
sure, sure, sure. So it's like, so typically, again, people within our community, they have this weird habit of asking for fan signs from other people. It seems as if they can't really form genuine relationships without seeing other people's body parts, especially if it's the opposite gender. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
typically you'll notice that most people within the debate community, they are all men. And the reason why they are women, right? And the reason why women typically never actually get involved in these sort of Discord debating communities is because of the fact that literally almost like a good 70, or actually no, a good 40% of the guys on here literally are just scumbags, and if it's in private they would literally do or say whatever just to
Oh
get,
yeah,
you
literally,
know,
like
literally
literally.
get their little fix.
By the way, like if like there's something kind of common with like within these type of like Discord debate extorters, like
Yeah,
a lot of these guys they lack interaction with females, right?
yeah,
Like they really do. Almost all of them, in at least in our community, are virgins. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean? And like it's like you have this thirst for women, but you can't really get women. I mean, like looking at like maybe how you look or like how you act in real life or like your lack of
yeah,
social. So you go into Discord, and then because you can't get any woman in real life, you have to like force your. I mean, in a way, like what do you call it? Like force your power over women on
yeah.
Discord, emotionally vulnerable women, right? And then get them to do things that any normal woman in the real
Yeah,
world probably wouldn't do for you.
because if
Like
you notice, most of, like, if not all women who you meet in real life will never be comfortable with the things that these women do on code. And the reason why that the reason why these people on Discord are so much more comfortable with leaving permanent scars or even temporary scars on their body from other men is typically because of lack of interaction with the family. You know, this is why fathers are so important in a household. You need a strong male within your household to tell you how other men will be able to interact. And because of their, you know, negative interactions with the supposedly, or like for the with their fathers, then they choose to go on to other men on Discord who, you know, and typically, especially if it's on the debate com, even if they are really bad at debating, you know, their quote unquote rhetoric will actually be able to convince these people, you know, using voice changes, trying to make their voice really deep and make it really attractive. Oh my god, hey, yeah, you want to get a cam from me, girl? It's like, you know, all of these sorts of tactics is just supposed to hide their insecurity, if you get what I mean. But why do you think there's such a trend between cross debaters typically towards going into the, you know, extortion community?
um I do want to say that the cross-verse community is a lot bigger. So like obviously there's gonna be like more room for, like weird people to come in. But it's also like I guess also just a bit more accessible, like I feel like anybody, who knows a little bit about anime can like come in and like, like debate cross first, and like that kind of brings in some weirdos. Like when you think of power scaling, you typically don't think of inverse debating, you like
Yeah,
typically think of cross verse debating, and that's maybe what drives like these people to come into these communities. But a lot of these people, they came into the communities like as normal people, like nobody suspected this and nobody batted an eye. Nobody
yeah,
like expected, I'm guessing, Focus to be an extor, but he turned out to be one. um but then a lot of it could also just be the influence from the community. I know that like when like around the same time Archie was like out for being next door, Focus was like becoming an next door as well. So
yeah.
like a
He
lot
was,
of them,
he was looking at the blueprint that was left to him by his predecessors, and he, you know, he honed his own craft. And if you notice, you know, I'm not going to say too much on the big F man, you know, the big Focus, but quite literally, I think that the reason why most of these crossers guys, they seem to go into this sort of, you know, e-dating sort of shit is typically because A, you can say, well, it's a bigger sample size, and B, women, and especially like what's it called, how to explain this, women typically, at least from the people on Discord that I've encountered, typically they don't really like care what goes, like what somebody does on Discord. They don't really care what other people do, as long as you're personally nice to them. So for example, you can be somebody who's been outed as holding several illegal documents, right? However, because what's it called, because you're nice to her and give her a few compliments and you like love bomb her for 30 minutes, now she's all yours. So it's sort of like, I don't know why people within this community, or specifically within those communities, are so susceptible. But the real question here is, how are we able to, how do you think we should be able to, you know, mitigate the amount of cross-source debaters turned e-daters turned extorters? Hmm?
um we have in the past, right? Like it was never this bad. Like Shinra, like you know that it was never this bad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And like
like
even that like
looks.
type of extortion community existed, and
Mm-hmm.
even then like that extortion community was probably doing better like in 2023 and 2022. It was probably like way more active back then.
Yeah,
But then why is it now that all of these fucking like masochists and lunatics are in our Kong? It's because like there's like no moderation. Like these people, they like there's no big one central debate server where okay yeah you get back from that server, or like there's no even like there's not really much of a cohesion between the owners of other servers where okay yeah this guy's a weirdo in my server, I banned him, I blacklisted him, do the same thing, and then there'll be like a community wide blacklist, you know?
yeah,
Like Archie, he was blacklisted from the com. Like obviously, like the little rat he is, eventually he seeps back into the com. But he was blacklisted from the com for a
yeah,
while. But like what happens now with this com is that well, it's just a bunch of friend groups that have their own servers, and obviously some of these friend groups can be extorted friend groups, and obviously because there's no like there because like the amount of debaters and like the amount of debates is so small, people crave debating so much that they're willing to ignore that shit. Like people who would be so averse to it happening to their like maybe their daughters or their sisters, would be fine with it happening to random girls on the internet,
yeah,
done by people who they talk with and associate with because of their fucking drive or their thirst to see any type of activity in the Baycom.
yeah.
Like it's crazy. The more dead this com becomes, the more there's less restrictions on these fucking crazy people coming into the community.
Yeah, so if you notice, there's this whole phrase that's been purported by the X community. That's what I'm gonna call them, right? The X community, which is just like it's just Discord. But again, it seems as if these people have realized that that the disconnect between online and reality isn't as big as they think. So, for example, most of the time, at least back then in like 2020, 2021, if you reported somebody's account on Discord, that was something that they took really seriously. However, like as the years goes on, there were like an immediate boom in terms of how many people use Discord. So it seems as if like Discord really doesn't moderate the servers that they're in. Right? So for example, how is it that there's a video floating around from people in a server that I'm also in, by the way, right? That I joined and I was like, yo, ban this kid. And then most people are like, why? It's like, well, obviously, this guy, he owns an illegal video of another person, and it was just him and 5 other people in a group chat. And I'm like, whoa, how is this sort of thing? How is this not shamed? How are these guys not getting mass banned from servers? It's like, these guys think this thing is okay just because they're hiding behind the screen? And it's like, okay, well, even if you may not be caught now, you may not be caught later, right? Eventually somebody is going to find it, and somebody is going to have way more resources than any of us do, and who is going to invest their time in being able to track down most of these guys who decide that they want to make their living through just making people cut. And the point you brought up about how like, oh yeah, they're just extremely thirsty for debate activity. It's like, okay, but most of these guys are mediocre debating. So it's like, have people really degraded so much that any debating is considered good debating?
That's how dead the community is. Like that's really how dead the community is. When Archie was blacklisted, I mean, he's like better than basically every single like one of these like store debaters, right?
Yeah. And that's saying something, by the way.
But he was blacklisted. He was actually gone. He was actually gone from the community.
Yeah, and the community didn't really take a big hit too.
Like fucking Focus was blacklisted. Like you didn't see Focus in the base servers. Obviously,
there's always going to be that one server.
Snowfall existed and shit.
Yeah.
D1 server maybe, but like you wouldn't see him in the rest of the other big debate servers, and that's because well we had such a high amount of like high tier debaters and like people who actually wanted to be seen debating.
Yeah.
But now that like the comments like become so small, there's like like we want to cling onto the few remnants of like activity that we have left, and we do that through the people who are fucking like crazy masochists,
Yeah, it's like really, I think the sort of a thing which could solve the whole big issues with debating is just like, one, even if you're really bad, and this is the sort of like stigma that people have. It's like, even if you're really bad, you shouldn't debate. It's like, well, if you're really really bad, obviously people are going to be mean to you for being bad. But it's like, okay, well, would you rather have someone be mean to you on the internet and it mitigate these sort of crimes that are going on? Or would you rather not be called bad by never joining code, right? And never creating such a large group of people and a large community, which is also active at the same time, so that These guys aren't able to get away with just making people do all of these criminal activities just because people want to see debates happen. Now, if you want to like recognize all of these clans, you notice, like, especially these extort clans, you notice that they always have like a lightning strike next to their name, and then like there's a specific name of their clan. Or you can see Justice. What else is there? Justice, Hail. What other communities are there?
Um, I just say that I'm not familiar with the extortion community.
Yeah, like, no, but there are lots of them who just like float around in debate communities, and it's like same with the packing community. If you
Oh
notice
yeah,
that,
I mean, wait,
Mhm.
like to be clear, like there's like you'd be surprised at how much like extorters there are in the Bacon, or people who are friends with extort. I mean,
Yeah,
um, I was friends with Maya, and like Maya was an extorter, but then like it didn't really seem that way. Like you can like you can kind of like talk to these people and like become friends with these people, but like ultimately these people are like like
yeah,
these women like
it's sort of like
manipulate
a
women.
Dexter syndrome where it's like, okay, well, these people, they seem regular. Whenever you speak to them, you'd never, get the idea that they are a bad person. Even if you hear that they are a bad person, right? You never like get the idea. You never like immediately be like, no, I'm not going to talk to you, right? But over time, you notice more and more, and like after getting closer to them, and they become more comfortable around you, you notice more and more they'll be more comfortable showing you the evil activities that they do. But in
And like
general,
by the way, like
mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you, you're probably gonna be more comfortable with it as well. Like
Yeah,
if you like befriend these people, and that's the thing, these people ultimately like they're not really like crazy fucking like masochists or like lunatics like they want to see blood or whatever. Like they're just like normal, just like fucking normal niggas that are edgy. Like it just gets to a point of edginess and like fucking sexual depravity, right? Where like you're not getting any pussy. You're not fucking any bitches. You're not talking to any girls. You're not getting any attention from girls in real life. So like, okay, well, I gotta get attention from girls on Discord. And then once you finally get attention from girls on Discord, like you want to abuse that power because you had
yeah. This
no
their
chance to be the same in
final,
real life,
their first
and then they abuse the
experience with
power.
having friends.
Pardon what?
Yeah, it just seems as if the main reason why these guys just choose to immediately start taking advantage of every single woman they text is because they have no one really outside the Discord to talk to, and Discord seems like it's their how to explain this. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
it's their main form of social media, right? So, for example, when they check their Snapchat, their Snapchat has like three notifications, right? Because they have no one to talk to, and they're most likely socially awkward in real life. Now, these guys may say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh well, but I look great, haha! Look at me, I'm really attractive." It's like, okay, well, you wouldn't really be feeling the need to go on Discord specifically to
If you actually
extort.
were.
Yeah, if you were actually attractive and people around you. So it's like, well, if the reason why you aren't getting talked to by women isn't because of your looks, but it's because you're an awful person, that's something you need to fix. You know what I mean? It's like, look, if these guys actually got interaction from women in real life, right? I know all of these extorter guys like to say, "Oh yeah, I literally have a girlfriend outside the Discord," right? It's like, well, she probably doesn't
Oh,
know what you're
would she be
doing.
fine with it?
Hmm?
Yeah, literally. Like would she be fine with it? And then even
Yeah,
then, like, let's say you are like a normal person, like, and you get bitches, and like you have friends and a social life, and you play sports. Well, number one, I don't know how you'd find a time to do this, right?
yeah,
But like, even if you do somehow even manage to find a time to do this, and like you study and whatever and get grades, whatever the fuck, you're a normal nigga, right? Um,
on some
like
Dexter.
you're fucking edgy. Like you're doing it just to be edgy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's like,
it's too cringe. You're no different from the little kids, right? That would like come to the cafeteria table and fucking show you gore and shit. You're no different to them. It's just like it's just so fucking cringy. Like, oh, look at me. Like you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can get a girl to cut my name into. I thought like
yeah,
chill,
it's
man.
like
Like you know what I
it's
mean?
kind of embarrassing. It's like, think about it. You just need to ask yourself, are all of these people who like what's it called? All these people who think, oh well, look at me, I'm a normal guy, haha. Look at all these women I get in real life. You just need to ask yourself, well, okay, if all of your internet activity was streamed to every single person who you're friends with, right? And they showed all of the dark stuff that you've been doing, would they still be friends with you? And it's like, okay, well, if they are still friends with you, fair enough, right? You've managed to surround yourself with other sick and twisted individuals, right? But usually they won't be friends with you, right? So it's not as if it's like you're
Mhm.
literally living a lie because you not only are you just getting on Discord, and typically, and I know this for certain, whenever they're on Discord, the online is their way of like is their way of portraying their true self to the world. So this is how they would regularly act if they
But
knew
that's
that nobody
also,
could link it back to themselves, right? It's like
yeah, literally.
if you give them a mask, and that mask, like, nobody knew who they were, nobody knew what they did, right? In real life, like, if you give them a mask in real life and nobody knew who they were anymore after wearing it, these are the type of things they'd get people to do, right? They would
I
probably,
also
yeah, they'd probably use physical force as well, but go ahead.
bro, like, because they're so edgy, like a lot of these guys also like just fucking like outright watch child porn. Like
Yeah.
bro, you'd be so surprised. Like these niggas, they love fucking child porn.
Wait,
Like
don't
they
use
love
that
all
word. Just be
the
like child potatoes or something like that.
oh yeah, they love cheese pizzas. You know,
Yeah.
they love all type of, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
cheese pizzas and like and club penguins and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah, they also
Yeah, it's
oh,
like
yo, cut us out.
no, yeah, I might cut that, but it's like literally, I don't know. It's in general, in terms of like debating, I think the real reason why these guys are like that is because they have some form of desires that they have inside of them that they don't talk about. They don't talk about to
Oh
other
yeah,
people.
they're e-gangsters, you know, like they're
Yeah,
literally e-gangsters. Like there's no different from like what like a real like guy nigga would do in real life, you know, like they just have everything except on Discord. So like for example,
yeah.
the way they like, you know, get a nigga down is like fucking packing them, and like they have fucking e-bitches instead of real bitches, and they have fucking
Yeah. Don't let me catch you in VC, bro. Don't let me catch you in VC. It's like
and
that's
like they
literally
post
what gangsters say when it's like, don't let me catch you outside, bro. Yeah,
yeah,
you're banned from
and they
Toronto.
have like point, or like you know how like, you know, like when you tap a nigga down you get a point, right? Like
Yeah,
instead of fucking points and shit, they have fucking pack videos and like just like, you know what I mean, just like
yeah.
about
It's like like
how
really. No, it's like unironically, literally, it just doesn't seem like these guys. They want to live a life. They want to live the life of a quote unquote thug, but also because of the fact that they live in gated communities, they probably have a loving mother. Actually, no, I doubt they have a loving mother because then they wouldn't be treating women the way they do. So they probably have a semi-loving father, right? And who, gives them a little bit of love, but not enough that's needed. And then they also are just rich, right? Because you notice it's mostly these like what's it called? You notice it's mostly these rich kids who don't really get any attention, right? From
mm,
people who are around them who want the thrill of just like of having control over other people because they feel as if they don't have that sort of control in their real life. So it's like overall, if you are somebody who likes to do the cut right to other people, and also if you are one of those people who does it to yourself, we also need to talk about them as
bro,
well. It's like, what do you think could cause somebody to want to like willingly do that to other people? And no, most of the time they're doing it for free. So what sort of benefit do you think they get from that?
like the girls that cut themselves,
Yeah, yeah,
bro, like they're just emotionally depraved. Like that's why I don't see them in real life, you know.
yeah,
Like they have fucking zero, probably zero interaction and like zero attention guys in real life, and that's why they're so clingy to these Discord niggas. Half of the time they don't even see their faces. You don't
yeah,
even see these Discord faces, but because you know they're fucking love bombing them. Like they literally are love bombing them, and like they get love bombed, like they fall in love with their Discord nigga, right?
yeah,
Um, they become attached to them, and then like they will literally do anything for them. They have their own fucking mental issues that they need to address as well. But
yeah,
like obviously that X community is like way bigger and like way wider, and like it's been covered by like way bigger content creators, and like this is just a debate channel, right?
yeah,
Like we like us really here, we can't really do anything about that. But what we can do is like just please keep these people away from you, you know? Like if you have
yeah.
a friend that thoughts like, I know you might not be able to get through to them, right? But please just tell them to, you know, like turn it down a bit. Don't even stop, just
A
turn it down.
bit,
Like, stop being a fucking
a
weirdo.
bit. First, but look, it's like most of these girls who like doing this to themselves and who think that they doing this sort of stuff to themselves is okay and it's normal. And the reason why they do this is because of the fact that whenever they walk past other people on a day-to-day basis, they don't really talk to them. They feel like, oh, well, what if he thinks I'm weird? Da, 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 da. What if she thinks I'm weird? Da, da, da. They always keep thinking of all of this stuff that could happen if what they, if like speaking to people in real life went wrong, right? And it's like, look, you just need to think to yourself, right? Be able to take the first step and talk to people in real life. And it's not even the sort of thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'm clowning the girls who do it, because it's probably like, think of it, these guys who are doing it, right? They probably have no mental issues, right? They're probably just sick people. And it's like, yeah, they're just edgy, right? But most of the girls who do it, they wouldn't regularly do it. I doubt many people were born wanting to carve focus onto your thighs, right? So it's like, look, you just need to learn to take the first step. When you look at another person, be like, this person was born the same way I was. They'll probably die the same way I will, right? They'll probably live at least a somewhat similar life than what I will, right? Regularly, if I wasn't getting, manipulated by guys on Discord, right? So it's like, look, really deep it. You just need to be able to take the first step and talk to people, right? And from talking to people, you just build relationships that will never leave you, right? And if you have even a friend group of like 3, you'd still not be going out and getting, lines drawn on you, if you get what I mean.
I mean, I don't know how much like mentally ill girls are gonna like stumble upon this video and watch it to the end, but
yeah,
like honestly, really and truly, like for this debate com, like this debate com only, because I don't really care to speak outside of it. Like we need that kind of that presence as a community where we're like where we like unite and like kick like the weirdos out,
yeah,
like, unless you want your debate community to be a weirdo community, which niggas see it as now because of people like them. Like, why do you think all the old gens left? I don't even think the old gens were good at debating, but why do you think they left? They left because of people like them. They left because of people like fucking like Mink or like all these other careless niggas and like all these fucking extorted niggas. They left because of people like them. They left because of the doxers. They left because of the extorters. They left because of
it's like, I mean, you can say that at least back then for the old com people, they had like a how the walking around the community, and Prime the Bead doing like running his rounds. But it's like, look, there's a specific reason why none of the guys on Discord can say honestly that they would open the app, right, in public. The same way how you open your Snapchat in public, the same way how you open your TikTok in public. The reason why there's a reason, like the reason why people won't open apps like Reddit, they won't open apps like what's it called? They won't open apps like Discord. They won't even open apps like Telegram in public, right? Is because of the negative stigma around them. So if you really want to to actually have that peace of mind whenever you open your phone, and you have that peace of mind so somebody isn't behind you looking at the things you're saying on Discord and having a negative impression of you, then you need to start slowly, by one person at a time, changing the sort of stigma that you have around the debate community. Look at, for example, Deadboy, because he hangs around with such cool people on Discord, right? He just doesn't really hang out with weird people. He can actually introduce his friends to them, right? And his friends know that he uses Discord, and they aren't weirded out because of the fact that what the stuff he's doing and the people he surrounds himself with, they aren't weird. So why does that have to be any different for anyone else, if you get what I mean? Yeah, but it's like, look, if somebody asked you on the street, what do you do on Discord? What sort of things would you say, and how do you think they would react?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'd say that,
I debate One Piece. I'm crying.
I talk about philosophy with some people who are educated on it.
Cheers, mate.
I talk about anime, and like I have a loving girlfriend on this app as well. But like okay, I wouldn't say that's so in real life, but you kind of get the point, right? Like I use this app, like sometimes when I'm a bit bored, I open up Discord, I chat to some niggas, but I'm not using it to substitute all my fucking social interactions, right? Like I still talk to girls outside this app, I still talk to like my friends outside this app, I still do things outside this app, I still go to the gym, and I still fucking study, and I still go out with friends and shit.
Yeah.
And I promise you niggas to do the same thing as well. Like I promise.
Yeah, so literally just a little bit of social interaction could go a long way, right? Additionally, if you fix the stigma around the debate community, right? If you fix the stigma around it, And then whenever people hear, oh, he debates, they won't take it as, oh, he's part of this community who he's part of this community who are widely associated with doxers. He's part of this racist community. He's part of this community who does all of this horrible stuff. Instead, they'll attribute it to, oh, he likes talking about philosophy and he's really good at it. Oh, he likes talking about anime. He's really good at it. And from just talking about something as silly as anime, his reasoning skills have improved. They're really, really well. And his fluency has improved. Because, in fact, I'm going to be honest, right? Just from debating, the sort of vocabulary that I have, that I apply to real life as well, it's improved as well. Like, my English grade has gone from like a 7 to a 9 in British terms. I hope everyone who watches knows what that means. So, but from like a B plus to an A plus, right? I think that's how that converts. Is that how it converts?
Yeah, no, 9 is A plus plus.
Oh, A plus plus, right? And then
7 is A.
Oh yeah. So an A to an A plus plus, right? So it's like, you can actually transfer the skills you learn on Discord, right? If you're actually debating to aspects of real life. But if somebody asked you, what sort of things have you learned how to do from, doxing and extorting, right? The only thing you could say is coding. And the things you do with that coding, right, isn't you're making games.
Like, they don't even code. Like, they're literally like little kids who are edgy, and like they have no social interaction, so like they prey on vulnerable women. And I feel like people like kind of repeating this the whole point, but I want to say one thing. Like, the most important thing you can get out of this video is like, please let's get our community back.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're starting to take over our community. Can we get our debating community back?
Yeah, can old people start debating again? Like, can new people start debating? Specifically, like, I want both to come back, really, because it's like, despite, even in terms of like, yeah, old people who used to debate, they were really bad, but they made up for their trash debate skill they were entertaining and they had principles, right? So, for example, you see people like Noodles, right? Like, Noodles is really bad, right? However, he's entertaining. People would like to listen to Noodles, right? So it's like, we need to bring those sorts of people back, and we also need to bring another group of people who can balance your ability to be entertaining and also be smart at the same time. Not the pseudo intellectuals, like, who you like was able to quote unquote do that before, but people who are actually intelligent, if you get what I mean. But yeah, that should conclude the video. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe.
Also, one more thing. Me and Shinra are making a server in the upcoming winter break. So if you guys want to join that server, DM me. My Discord user is 484 Yani. Like, the numbers are spelled out in letters and not numbers. So, or like the invite link is inside the video as well. It should be in the description.
Yeah.
Server. It's opening right in winter. All right, have a good day.
Have a good day. Wow. Okay, yeah, have a good day, I should say. Jesus Christ. This is me, Shinra. That was Yani, and we're out.